I introduce Dr. Alan Roberts, teacher, scholar and carpenter, and his artist and psychotherapist wife, Vidah Roberts. They were with Ken Ratcliffe from the first few days of the IHS at Cannegarth, and from 1970 were regular visitors to Ishval at Parklands. Alan has given courses on the perennial philosophy, introducing the work of Eugene Halliday for the Wilmslow Guild, and has given many lectures on Eugene's work, which can be seen on YouTube. Both are involved in therapeutic work with individuals, and for 7 years have led the Sacred Drama Weekend at Trigonauts in Snowdonia. And they are going to perform or read for us Eugene's play Beauty in the Beast.
Right, thank you for listening. The play is called Beauty in the Beast, and we're going to do a read-through of an abridged version of the play. The full play is 1 hour and 15 minutes when we did it. And we're going to do it like a read-through. So we're going to read through the script. V is playing the girl, and she looks like a girl. I'm playing the beast. And the beauty, hopefully, you'll find in the play. It's a humorous play, but that doesn't mean to say it's a comedy. There's lots of serious stuff in here. So there's very little stage directions. I will read the stage directions when we come to them. So I've got 2 parts, these I've got 1. But I think it works out very evenly.
I'm struggling with things.
Indeed.
That counts as a part in itself.
You have to move, don't you? You have to move as well.
Well, I can't.
Okay.
She needs to hold the
Right.
We'll pretend.
Yes. Right. You know Murphy's Law? There's only a couple of little movements in this play, and we've just completely confrusticated them.
That would be fascinating. Sorry, I'm towards certain facing me. No, that's fine. I don't. That's fine. That's probably better.
Okay. So, right. Beauty and the Beast, played by Eugene Halliday, and my costume is over here now. If the ladies would avert their eyes while I put my costume on. Make me a little bit more beastly. Not necessary, people say, I know. A beast-headed man is seen sitting in a cage. A young woman enters and walks past the cage.
Oh!
Oh, indeed.
Oh,
Don't repeat yourself.
I'm sorry. You startled me. You repeated yourself, didn't you? You've done it again. But never mind, you're only a beast. It's quite surprising you can talk, really. And you talk quite well, too. Your English is quite good. Are you an English beast? I don't remember reading about your kind of beast in my natural history books at school.
School books never include the best. Not of anything. Besides, I'm not a kind of beast. That would imply that there were other beasts like me. I'm unique. I'm not a beast. I'm the beast.
But you are in the category of beasts, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm the only beast, the one beast from which all categories have been developed.
How do you mean?
I'm the only real beast. Other creatures called beasts are just copies of parts of me.
It's a funny thing to say. You've got a man's body.
I've not got a man's body. Men have copied my body. There's nothing in the whole world except copies of me. I'm the only real reality.
You mean that real reality is only a beast with a man's body?
It isn't a man's body. It's mine. Men haven't enough intelligence to build a body as magnificent as this.
Well, you're not very modest, are you?
Modest? Modesty isn't for the beast. The only, the supreme. Modesty. Now you can claim that for man, if you like. I didn't invent that. Nonsense.
Modesty isn't nonsense. I'm sure.
Don't you say what modesty is. I know what it is. It's a great sham. That's what it is.
I don't think it's a sham. I think...
No, you don't. You just repeat what you're told. People don't think. They just think that they think. They're out of touch with the beastly nature of reality.
What do you mean? Surely if they think, they do think, don't they?
No, they don't. They just think they do. But real thinking keeps in touch with reality. With the reality of my supreme beastliness.
I don't understand you. Surely reality isn't all beastliness. We humans have qualities that are not at all beastly.
Quite. But unbeastly qualities are not real. They're the sham. They're coloured bits of tawdry material that men use to cover themselves up with to hide their beastliness from each other.
Why should they do that if it's true that beastliness is the only reality?
Because they are weaklings. They're too scared to face reality. That's why they've grown those silly, similar faces.
Similar faces?
They're all the same. Silly, smooth creations. Everything they do is calculated to make each one of them look just like all the others.
They don't look all the same to me.
You're one of them. So naturally not. Your attention is caught by the slightest difference in detail.
I think if you can't see the difference between one human being and another, you've not got very good eyes.
Pure conceit. I can see the difference between their facades, whether they're put on well or badly, but that's the only difference they have. Their underlying nature is so weak, such a feeble copy of my supreme beastliness, that they don't exhibit it to each other.
It isn't that they're scared to show any beastliness they might have. It's that they consider beastliness to be inferior to humanness.
What fantasy! What you call humanness is in practice just an attempt to cover up the reality in their depths. The reality that they borrowed from me. The reality of pure beastliness.
Human beings might admit that beastliness is basic to life, but they wouldn't admit that what is more basic is necessarily what is best. Please, don't roar at me, it hurts my ears. Surely you believe that even beasts shouldn't unnecessarily hurt each other?
Not unnecessarily. But there are worse things than being hurt, you know.
What kind of things?
Untruthfulness, cowardice, cheating, envy of good qualities in other beings, a million things.
Human beings admit these things are not good, but they try to eliminate them.
They do not. They just try to bury them where no one can see them. They even succeed in hiding these bad qualities from their own consciousness.
I don't think they do it deliberately.
Deliberately? Sorry about that growl.
Thank you. You're really almost human, aren't you?
I'm not. And I don't want to. And I don't have to be human to be sensitive or to sympathize. It's just another example of man's arrogance to think that only humans can feel.
Well, I admit that some people are arrogant. Perhaps all of us are arrogant sometimes. But we know it's a fault, and we try to get rid of it. And we know that animals do have sensitivity and sympathy for each other.
But they do it spontaneously. And they forget a moment later. And then they're playing happily together again, as if nothing had happened. And they do everything spontaneously. They don't plot harm to each other, just like men do.
I know humans sometimes plot against each other, but they know it's wrong and do so. But they know it's wrong to do so, and they try.
Don't say it. You'll make me growl again.
Sorry. But I do believe that human beings are trying to be good, even if they don't always succeed.
Well, what do you mean by good? Human beings are always using that word, and they haven't the faintest idea what it means.
It means kind, helpful, considerate, loving, and so on.
Doesn't mean any such thing. You talk like a human being.
I am one.
Note the pride slipping into your tone.
I didn't intend to be proud.
No, of course not. Humans don't. But whatever they don't intend to do, that they do. And whatever they do intend to do, that they don't. That's another thing I don't like about men. Religions. They're always inventing methods of trying to force themselves to do the things they don't want to do. It's quite silly and illogical of them, but that's the way they work.
It's not really logical, because if they don't try to control themselves, they might hurt each other, damage themselves.
Well, it wouldn't matter if they did. Not if they did it spontaneously and then promptly forgot about it and went back to playing together as if nothing had happened. I remember I once said that to a young man I met in the desert in Palestine. He agreed with me.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I think that lots of people would agree with it too. It's only another way of putting the forgiveness commandment the Jewish Messiah gave us.
Jewish Messiah?
Yeah, a man called Jesus who came from Nazareth.
That's funny. The fellow I talked to in the desert, he said his name was Jesus. He was a nice young fella. He had a marvellous memory. He could remember when he used to be a beast thousands of years earlier. I had a very good conversation with him.
What do you mean? He could remember thousands of years ago.
He could remember his previous incarnations. You know we all reincarnate from time to time.
I don't know whether I believe in reincarnation.
Well, if you want to be in good company, you had better. All the best beasts believe in reincarnation. That young fellow certainly did. He could remember all the times he'd lived in all the worlds that there are. But the thing I most admired about him was that he could think very clearly. He had a most surprising command of logic, and he certainly knew what to expect from men. I remember being quite surprised that he didn't run away from them altogether, considering what he knew about them.
Well, it doesn't help to run away from things, really, does it?
Well, that depends what the things are. Some things are dangerous, you know. Things bigger or stronger than you are, for instance.
I wasn't thinking about it like that. I just meant in general. But you surprised me, talking about things being dangerous or bigger or stronger than you. I'm sure you could take care of yourself in any situation you might meet. Except perhaps in an earthquake, or a volcanic eruption, or a forest fire. Oh,
I wasn't thinking only about things bigger and stronger as being dangerous.
what else were you thinking about?
I'd rather not. If you don't mind, I'd rather not talk about it.
Well, if you don't want to, of course. If you really don't want to,
I don't.
if you really and truly don't want to, then it's not good for you to suppress things.
I'm not suppressing things. I'm just not wanting to discuss them. Well, some of them.
Which ones?
You are persistent, aren't you? I was just beginning to forget that you belong to mankind. And almost beginning to like you. But if you start pushing and trying to make me do something that I don't will to do, I shall begin, and I don't want to say this, I shall, or I might begin to dislike you.
I'm sorry. It's just that I want to help you if I can. You're such a nice beast, really. Even if you do look a bit horrid and frightening.
I don't look frightening to me. It's men who look frightening to me.
Oh no, they don't, really. I don't look frightening to you, do I?
No, you don't. If I look carefully, but others of your kind, they do.
How?
They've got a certain kind of expression, and I don't like it.
What is it? Tell me what it's like.
I'd rather not, if you don't mind.
Oh, please, please tell me.
Well, don't forget that you insisted on being told.
I won't forget, please tell me.
All right. The thing I don't like about men is they're sly.
Oh,
You didn't expect me to say that, did you?
no, not quite.
You wanted me to say something not too horrid that would also be slightly flattering. That's very human.
Now you're being horrid.
I'm not. I'm just being truthful.
Well, it's possible to be horrid whilst being truthful. It all depends on motive, you know.
I don't know. It depends what you mean by motive. As I've told you, I always move spontaneously. I don't design my actions before I do them.
Well, that's all very nice. We'd all like to act spontaneously, but you can't build a civilization on spontaneity, you know.
That's why I dislike civilization.
But we have to have civilization.
You humans do, but only because you want to.
But it's not because we want to, it's because we have to. We couldn't live together without it.
Which makes my point.
How?
Life is dangerous. Love is dangerous. Faith without knowledge is dangerous. Hope without work is dangerous. Everything without everything else is dangerous. Even trying to help me and save me is dangerous.
But surely we can help each other in some way.
So you've given up saving me, have you? Now you're just trying to help me.
I said help each other.
Ah, yes. Each other. Help each other. But how are we going to help each other? How are you going to help me without saving me from myself? Because I don't want to be annihilated by salvation.
I'm sure you've got something inside of you that's more than beast.
You still want to lift me, to save me, take you up to your level. But you shouldn't do this unless I ask you for it. You should respect my freedom. Tolerate other kinds of beings other than your own. Unless you do that, I've nothing more to say to you.
I do respect freedom in other beings. Certainly I do.
What other beings? Other beings of your own kind? Do you respect the freedom of other beings other than your own kind? Do you respect the freedom of the lion, the gorilla, the anaconda, the golden eagle, the lark, the mouse amongst the corn, the grey badger, the baby seal, the seagull, the oyster, the chrysalis, or the dragonfly? Indeed. You don't. You don't respect the freedom of any being except the one which subserves some purpose of your own. Admit it.
You forced me into a corner.
An admission.
But surely everyone, every kind of being, finally respects only the freedom of its own kind.
Aha! We are at war. But now, thanks to the Great Spirit, blessed be He, in the open, where we can now fight honourably.
Well, I'm not fighting you or anyone else.
Oh, yes, you are. You've admitted that you respect the freedom of any beings like yourself. And I am not like you.
Well, I think you are. I think we are very alike. In fact, I'm sure we're very much alike in many ways.
Name one.
Well, we both believe we're right. You think you're right, and now possibly for the first time in my life, I think I'm right. And now I know I can help you.
You can't help me without my permission. And if I give you my permission, really I'm helping myself by allowing your help.
I didn't mean I could help you without your help, but with your help I can.
But you still want me to lose my beastliness, to annihilate my essential being.
No, only to help you be less noisy and violent.
You want to humanize me, to civilize me, to make me sly and polite and inwardly terrified as the rest of mankind.
Not to make you sly and terrified.
But these are implied in your civilization. Don't you know that? I tell you what, I'll have you a little bet. I bet you that I can make out a better case for my beastliness than you can make for your mankind. Will you accept that bet?
Yes, I will.
Good. Make out your case for mankind.
All right, I'll try. But the first thing I'd like to point out is that man has no natural weapons as part of his being. He has no lion's teeth or claws with which to damage or kill his neighbour. He has no rhinoceros horn to threaten with. No eagle's talons to grasp a baby lamb with. No shark's streamlined form to pursue his brother fish with. And no fearsome darts of deceiving soft jellyfish. No electric shock generated in an eel's body. And no scorpion poison sting, no tarantula's bite. Man's whole body shows that he is not built for violence.
Go on. He doesn't do so badly without them. But surely that's not all you have to say. All those things are only negative virtues. What about the positive ones?
Well, man, because of his renunciation of weapons, has a greater freedom of action. He is not impeded with great antlers like the stag. Therefore he can go into the deepest thickets in the forest which would trap the stag. He's not got the tremendous weight of the elephant. Therefore he can climb trees or walk on tight ropes or fly in a glider or an aeroplane. He has no long claws like the tiger. Therefore he can feel and pick up with his fingers the tiniest thing. A pin, a needle, a hair. I could go on, but you will see what I am getting at, what I'm meaning without my labouring it too much.
Yes, I see what your point is.
Good. Well, have I made my case out for mankind?
There are some things you've left out.
Well, of course. But surely I've made out enough to win my case. Man's lack of animal weapons. I mean, his physical lack of them in his body has left him free to do things that no animal could possibly do. He can use machines to give him the strength of the elephant, the speed of the cheetah, the soaring power of the albatross. He can dig like a mole, drill holes in wood quicker than the woodpecker, look through a microscope at things so tiny, even the tiniest fly's eye couldn't see them.
Go on, go on.
Well, he can measure the stars, rocket himself into space, beyond the earth, where no animal has ever been. ride from planet to planet.
Not quite, not yet.
But you will do.
There's no doubt about it.
No.
Well, have you finished then?
Yeah, I think I've said enough.
There are still some things you have left out. I mean, important things.
More things.
You've so far only said nice things about yourself and your kind.
Oh.
Yes. What about the horrible things that men do, which beasts cannot do? And not only can do, but human beings do.
Aren't you going to make out a case for the animals now?
You see, you illustrate just what I mean. I'm sure you didn't even notice it.
What?
Your automatic cunning.
What do you mean?
Worse and worse. When I wanted you to describe the horrible things that men do, after you just describing the nice, clever things, you just changed the subject. A typical mankind trick.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even notice.
But still, you didn't notice. You notice all the nice things about you, and you don't notice all the unnice things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry you've been found out? Sorry you've been discovered and your duplicity exposed?
Well, I am sorry. I'll try to be fair. Will you forgive me? I'll make out your case for the beasts.
All right. Forgiveness is easy for me. For not being a man, I have no axe to grind. Would you like me first to describe some of the horrible things men do, or shall I make out my case for the beast?
Oh, your case for the beast.
I thought you'd prefer that. You're still like your kind, squeamish about your undesirable qualities, boastful about your best.
Sorry.
But of course. But I'll give you my case for the beast.
Thank you.
It's a very short one.
Is it?
Yes, very short. It could all be summed up in one word. Can you guess what that word is?
No, I'm afraid I can't.
The word is sincerity. Do you know what that means?
Yes, it means meaning what you say.
That's one of the things it means. It also means pure, clean, whole. It's from the Latin sine, which means without, and caries, which means rottenness, decay.
Goodness, I didn't think you, that is, a beast, would know Latin.
Latin is borrowed from the original beastly sounds, like every other language, of course.
Oh.
Yes, so sincerity means without rottenness. Beasts don't talk rot like my can does. You know, whatever a thing is, that's what we say it is. That's our prime beastly virtue. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say.
Yes, but I was wanting to explain a bit more for me.
Well, probably I'd better. Because with your mankind twisted way of thinking, for which I don't blame you personally, because it's been handed down to you from your ancestors, but with your way of thinking, you most certainly get lost in your own logic.
I probably would.
A beginning of humility, very hopeful. The light will begin to shine. Well, the implications of sincerity. Sincerity means without rottenness, yes?
Yes.
Rottenness means the state in which something is in a good process of disintegration, yes?
Yes.
Disintegration is a process or a state of falling apart.
Yes.
Good. Falling apart is a falling out of relation.
Yes.
Falling out of relation is falling out of the essential of life.
Yes.
As a young woman, you do know that the essential of life is relation, don't you?
Yes.
Life is love, and love is relation, isn't it?
What kind of relation?
What other kind is there?
Well, the opposite of love is hate, so I suppose there can't be a relation of hate.
What is hate?
Well, destructiveness, I suppose.
But destructiveness is against relation, isn't it? It makes things fall apart, disintegrate, doesn't it?
Oh dear, yes.
Then there is no relation of destructiveness other than this. Destructiveness aims at unrelation, so hate aims at unrelation.
But hate attacks things. And attack on things is a kind of relation, isn't it?
The attack energy of hate is love, trying to destroy that which would destroy love's relation.
I'm getting a little confused.
When you love someone, you desire to be in relation with that someone.
Yes, of course.
Of course. And if anything threatens to destroy the someone you love, or your relationship with that someone, you do something, don't you?
You hate it.
What do you actually do?
You try to stop that thing from spoiling your relation or hurting the one you love.
Quite. Now, naturally, what do you do to stop it?
Anything you can.
Such as destroy the thing?
If necessary, yes.
So destruction can spring out of love.
Yes, I suppose you can put it like that.
And destruction springs from hate.
Oh, yes.
Then we can say that hate is a product of frustrated love.
Well, I suppose we could.
Or shortly, that love frustrated is hate. Hate is love frustrated.
I think I see it. It's a bit unfamiliar.
Oh, familiarity breeds contempt. So be glad it's unfamiliar.
I will.
To go back a bit, sincerity, which is the basic beastly quality, is against rottenness, which is disintegration and destruction, and hate, which is frustration of love. So sincerity is against love's frustration.
I'm a bit confused. I think I can follow it. I'll have to think about it a bit more.
Take your time. Unlike a man, a beast will respect your needs.
Oh dear. I got such a long way from where I was at the beginning.
You sound a bit frustrated, but don't forget, sincerity can cure frustration.
You know, you make everything so complicated, and then you suddenly say everything's so simple.
Everything looks complicated, but is simple. All we have to do is to be sincere, pure in our intention to prefer relation to unrelation, construction to destruction, fulfillment to frustration, love to hate.
Because I do.
When you remember,
Well, it isn't easy.
just be sincere, will you?
I try.
Well, answer me this one question. When you first met me, did you see me as a beast?
Yes.
Did you have an idea that I, as a beast, was inferior in any way to you?
Yes. I thought you were...
Rather beastly?
Yes.
And you thought that to be beastly was worse than being like a man?
Yes, I did.
And you felt a desire to improve me, to make me more like a man?
I did.
Well, don't be upset. Your desire to improve me sprang out of love, didn't it?
Love?
Yes, love. Love is the desire to improve things, isn't it? To make things better, better relations between things.
Yes, I thought of it quite that way.
Don't be ashamed of love.
Well, I'm not, if you put it in the way you do.
Well then, what is our relation now?
I don't quite know.
Well, don't you want to save me now?
Well, I don't see how I can. Unless,
Unless what?
well, I mean, duh.
Do what?
People will be too terrified if I did.
Did what?
Let you out of your cage.
What makes you think that I want to be let out?
Well, you must. Every living thing hates to be caged.
There might be worse things.
What, you mean being killed?
Life cannot be killed.
Then what worse thing?
Being amongst beings that have no sincerity.
Oh,
Do you like living amongst people that have no sincerity?
no, of course not.
Well then, why do you want to let me out of my cage?
Well, I thought you were unhappy there.
I'd be more unhappy out there.
Well, who locked you in?
You're not very observant, are you?
What do you mean?
By not very observant, I mean you didn't notice much.
I know that. What I meant was, what haven't I noticed?
You haven't noticed that the key to this cage is on the inside.
I can't see it.
No, it's not on the outside, the inside. It's on the inside of the cage.
Well, goodness, who put it there?
I did, of course.
Well, how did you get hold of it?
It's my key.
Your key?
Yes, I own the key, and it's my cage as well. I made it specifically for my purpose. It's made to measure. It cost extra, of course, but it's worth it.
But why did you lock yourself in?
I didn't lock myself in.
Oh, I can't understand you.
I didn't lock myself in. I locked mankind out.
Oh,
Yes, they can't get in here.
but why did you do it?
Please try to use your memory. I told you, I don't like sincerity. So I don't like mankind. Except, perhaps, you.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you.
Not really. You're rather nice to know. For what you are.
Oh, thank you. Why don't you turn your key and come out here? It's so much more space. Could move about better, and much better.
I'm not going out there amongst men. Not with their sly ways, their politeness, their civility, and their trickiness.
Please come out. I've become very fond of you, you know, very fond. I'm not afraid of you like I was.
Good. But I'm not coming out. Not as long as men are like they are. I know that they'll be like it for a long time yet. It's all right for men to mix with each other. They are so far away from their beginnings that they've quite forgotten what it is like to live spontaneously, freely and sincerely. They only know how to be tricky and how to cheat each other, and to cover up their motives with horrible half smiles. They don't miss sincerity, and they don't have spontaneity, and they don't love anymore. They've forgotten everything that's worthwhile.
You make them sound awful.
They are awful. So why wouldn't they sound like it?
I don't know. I suppose we all know it really, deep down inside us. It's not very nice to think about it, is it?
No, it isn't. I can quite understand how they feel. Being like they are, considering how awful they make me feel, just to see them.
Well, now you'd make me feel sorry for them.
Instead of for me.
No, as well as for you. Because I'm sorry for them in a different way. I'm sorry for them...
Because they're so uncomfortable with each other and with themselves.
Yes, I suppose so. I suppose I should be sorry for myself too, shouldn't I? Because I belong with them.
No, don't do that. Self-pity is a terrible thing. I'll be sorry for you.
Oh, thank you. And now we're sorry for each other.
Well, that's all right. As long as we don't forget and fall into double self-pity.
You're very nice, really, aren't you? I wish you could come out of your cage.
Sorry, no, I can't. Not safely. Not with my open temperament and natural sincerity. I would be bound to get annoyed with men whenever they tried to trick me, and then I'd finish up, possibly claw them or bite them a little bit. I don't want to do that.
Well, you're very nice. I wish you would come out.
No good. I can't expose myself to them or them to me.
I feel awfully sad.
You better go. It's getting late.
I feel awful. I don't think I can go back again to mix with my own kind. Not now that I've been made conscious of what we're really like.
Consciousness is a terrible thing. I know how you feel, but you'll have to go.
What about you?
Don't think about me, just go.
I can't. Won't you come out? I can't go back on my own. I'd be afraid I might forget again and fall back into being like I used to be. I've changed, you know. I can't go back. I've changed in the last few minutes.
I know. You came to help me. You came with the wrong motive, of course, at least at first. But now you really want to help me. And in the right way.
I do, I really do.
Well, you have helped. Because you've shown me that you can change. You of mankind. And that means they all might change. Someday.
Or someday. Or perhaps that day will be a very long way off.
Remembering you, I'll be able to sit here in my cage and wait more hopefully. Thank you for your help. Goodbye.
I can't say goodbye.
You must.
I won't. I know now what it is I've always wanted. What I've always been looking for. A sincere beast. A sincere being. You.
You shouldn't say that.
Shouldn't I? I mean it. And you've taught me to be sincere. Will you please come out of your cage?
No, I can't. I've sworn to stay here until men stop all their tricky ways and go back to a true way of being.
Please come out.
No.
Well, if you don't come out, I shall have to come in the cage with you. I'll wait with you until my kind have refound themselves.
You may have to wait a very long time.
I don't care. Please let me in.
Go back to your own kind.
No,
Go back.
I can't leave you.
You'll be terribly lonely if you don't.
Not as lonely as you will be. I can't go back. How can I leave you now?
Just turn your back on me
No,
and walk away.
I can't. Not the way I feel now. Open the cage door. Open it.
It might be a very long wait.
Please. I love you. Open the door.
The beast goes to the cage door. Frowning and in serious consideration, he puts his hand on the key and partly turns it and then hesitates.
Open it, please, beast. Open it.
The beast turns the key and the girl steps into the cage. They look at each other face to face and then they embrace. And they turn back. Dee was meant to come and sit on my chair with me, but she can't because of the mic. And they look out through the bars of the cage. Your line. Sorry.
I wonder how long we'll have to wait.
They look at each other for a moment and then they look out to the bars of the cage. And that's it.